Hey, welcome to Win Anyway Live this Friday night. It's been 13 years. No, 13 years this August, technically, but for what I'm going to talk about tonight, it's been pretty much 13 years exactly. It's 13 years ago, I was in between the region level at Toastmasters, which I had won, and going to the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2008, which I did not win, nor did I place. But that summer, a documentary was being made called Speak. Can't even tell which arm I'm using because I'm mirrored on this video. Anyway, Speak. I got a t-shirt today. Actually, I got a bunch of t-shirts today that all have Speak on it, and on the back it says Speak in a whole bunch of different languages. Director Brian Wheeling was kind enough to send me some swag that he still had in his storage unit or in his house. So I got a bunch of shirts, a couple of tote bags, and a bunch of DVDs. I don't know if anybody still uses DVDs, but if they do, I've got DVDs of Speak that I can get out to you. Would love to do that. That documentary was kind of chronicling the adventures of the 10 of us who had earned the right to go to the World Championship, or at least the 8 of us over that summer. He came out to Provo. He and Paul Galicia came out with a cameraman and filmed me as I was practicing, getting ready, interviewed my family, interviewed my friends, and they did the same for many of the other members of the contest. And then we had 2 last-minute contestants who competed in the contest just a couple of days before the final contest. That's neither here nor there. The documentary itself didn't come out for another 3 years, 4 years. Took a long time to get it put together financially, just creative wise. A lot of things happened in the time between them filming it, all the events happening. They filmed a lot of it even the next year because LaShunda had so many medical problems. They followed her back to Texas and followed her journey to almost dying and then coming back and surviving, thank goodness, at least for a few more years. And they followed me as I almost went back to the World Championship the next year. And so that kind of closed up their movie. But they did some cuts, and they showed a long cut of it at the Toastmasters convention, which I got some interesting reviews on in terms of how I was perceived. And then a year or so later, the final cut came out, and it was interesting because I got to see myself a few years before, the attitudes that I had then, the place in life I was at then. It's very different. And there's information on Speak on my blog and what I went through. You can just Google Rich Hopkins Speak, Speak and Deliver blog, and you can read some things there. But at this point, now it's not just a couple of years ago. It's 13 years. And people still talk to me about Speak. People still say they remember me from Speak, were inspired by me from Speak. Sometimes I still get some flack for the way I was back when I was in Speak, because I was a hyper-competitive person. Not that I'm not all that competitive now, but I'm older, wiser. You know, my kids are older. That's one nice thing about the documentary is I can watch that movie and see my kids 13 years ago. A couple of them were just babies. So it's interesting. But the movie's here, and it's also online. You can get it for free on Amazon.com or Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free on YouTube if you just look it up. It's not the movie with Kristen, what's her name, from the vampire movies. She did a movie called Speak, but different movie. It's a documentary on the fear of public speaking that's tied together with the World Championship of Public Speaking under the rules that it was under in 2008. So it's kind of ancient history now. But I think it still holds up. And for me, it's always a lesson in humility when I watch it, and helps me move forward just a little bit every time, just to remind me of who I was, the good parts of who I was, bad parts of who I was, and to hang on some of that good and keep moving forward. So what do you have that, you kind of hang on to? Do you have any reminders from 13 years ago or 20 years ago or, last year? I don't know, last month? We all have these things that can sometimes inform us and continue to help us move forward. Yeah, kind of thinking now about the journal book I just read, but don't have time on this video. Maybe I'll talk about journaling tomorrow on Win. Anyway, live. Have a good night.